Welcome to the HSC Alliance Masterclass Series. My name is Marco Tiemann. I'm the CEO of HSC Alliance. It's my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Rizky Utomo, the Chairman of Asosiasi Halal Logistics Indonesia. He will be speaking on the topic of Halal Logistics Indonesia. Good morning, Mr. Rizky. How are you?
Yes, good morning, Pak. Thank you for welcoming us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all the audience. It is a very good pleasure, a very good time to given the opportunities to explain about halal logistics in Indonesia. We'll be taking some times and during the presentation, if you have any question, just raise your hand or maybe Marco Timan will help to point the discussion. Yeah. Okay. Can I start, Pak?
Please, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you. I will start the presentation. One moment. Okay. Is there? Can you clearly see my presentation, Pak Marco, or any other?
Perfect. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, audience, and thank you for giving us the chance to present about halal logistics in Indonesia. Indonesia has been doing this for so many times, and that's why we are having halal logistics in Indonesia. And my name is Rizky Utomo, Chairman of Ahli Asosiasi Halal Logistics Indonesia. So, about Asosiasi of Halal Logistics Indonesia, we are uh, originally, we are logistic company or logistic association, but now we are focusing on the logistic plus halal ecosystem. So what we do is to educate, or you can say advocate for the logistic operation in adherence to the halal infrastructure or the halal regulation. Our activities as Ahli is we are doing seminars and publishing book and consulting for any parties interested for logistic halal, whether it is a logistic or some other party interested in halal logistic. The simple thing about halal logistic is a logistic company or logistic practice plus the halal logistic, the halal knowledge. So we make it as a halal logistic. The principle of the halal logistic that we need to pay attention is during transportation of goods, especially food and beverages, they can be halal originally from the factory, but somehow during the transportation they can lose their halal status if it is not properly planned and properly handled. So this is some of our activities. I've been to Mecca and also to Thailand, participate in the halal logistic event or seminars worldwide. Thank you. This is my partnership with others in Indonesia. So we work with multiple parties, starting from government bodies and of course logistic company. And we are closely related to university and researcher. We all also liaising coordination with the other organization in Indonesia, and also of course we are doing some education or seminars with end user because we do not have a clear guidance in Indonesia or clear knowledge. So we are developing halal logistic and implementing it per sectors because there are so many other sectors in Indonesia, especially logistic. Go. So why halal logistic? Because Indonesia is the largest halal consumer market, and all the products circulating in Indonesia, it has been a regulation that you must using halal certification for any other products. But not only products, but we are doing the transportation of goods, foods, and beverage. It is mandatory to be having halal certificate, not only products, but the delivery and all the other sectors. I will explain later on, starting from next year or next year is only some couple days ago, today, 17th of October. Now, I mentioned before that halal is a regulation in Indonesia. You can see there are so many rules about halal, logistic, and not only halal, but starting from the halal food and beverages. It goes back to more than 10 years ago with the regulation number 33 year 2014, and then strengthened by the Omnibus Law, or in Indonesia we call this Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja, last 2 years ago. So this has become a regulation in Indonesia, and after being mandatory, there will be regulation, and even there will be some penalty of loss. I will not go to the penalty of loss, but I will go into the implementation of halal logistic as per regulation number 2024, number 42. This will be the guiding principle of all the implementation. Apart from that, there are so some other rules that being made by ministry, or the latest is from BPJPH, BPGPH. This will be the main principle or main regulation in interpretation of halal logistic. It will be rules government regulation number 42 year 2024. All other regulation is being posted in here. If you would like to know more, please go browsing. It will be easily to be found. Google it or download it even. But it will be a very, very integrated regulation, more than 100 pages. So I will be giving some of the summary. It will be based, or it will be your base of action, or how to implement halal logistic in Indonesia. Number one, this is the definition. The halal product, or here in the regulation, is processed product halal, or PPH. I will be having trouble in interpreting in English, so I will just mention PPH is comprised of some activity starting from provision of materials, or you can say farming or fishing, fisheries, and then processing in the manufacturer or factory, storage, packaging, distribution, sales, and presentation of products. So you can see there are 7 activities being regulated in the regulation. So you can say 99% of the activity, 99% of the activities are being monitored in the halal regulation. So it covers all aspects from the raw material, processing in the factory, storage, of course, after processing, you need to storage, packaging, distribution, sales, and serving. Especially getting more important because nowadays, this is the way of cargo, or not just cargo, any other products is being done. So we must to maintain the integrity, not the meaning of integrity, because I will explain to you later that cargo or food and beverage, it is being manufactured in the halal regulation or SOP of uh, halal SOP. The cargo or the food and beverage is already halal, but during the transportation, especially Indonesia is a very, very large nation. We need to transport anything, it can lose their halal status. So, in short, we are going to use this regulation in all of our activities. Now, the main the important of this is the location and equipment. I've told you before, it's 7 activities must be maintained from najis, and then clean and be free from halal activities. Just yesterday I met with a transporter of food, especially focusing in the meat and frozen food. This is a very, very critical point. I will explain about critical point later on. Critical point is the point, the activity where halal and non-halal product interact, where this is not to according, or this is cannot be accepted according to the regulation. This is not religious because we are basing on the regulation of government. You can browse on first pasal 6 ayat 2. So implication, all the factory or not just factory, all the important aspect, location, production, equipment, you name it all, must be clean, hygienic, and properly maintained. Of course, we need to free from the najis or any other contamination and free from non-halal elements. Okay. In order to do that, because it is a very, very maintained organization, you need to have a supervisor or the one responsible for all the activities of halal. In the regulation, in the Pasal 59 for verse 59, it has been a role of halal supervision to supervisors. The role is to implement the halal product assurance system. The easy to say, you must maintain or they must create SOP. And then they must preparing the process, applying risk management, because we mentioned before there are halal critical risks, or yes, this is risk that can cause the product to lose the halal status. And then preparing and all of other conduction and monitoring, and of course after you monitor you make some inspection if there are any risks of getting non-halal status. So uh, in a short, this uh, the 7 activities must be monitored by the halal supervisor. That's why the halal supervisor task is not an easy task to be done. So they must be using knowledge, or in more than that, they have to acquire halal certification supervisor accredited by the government body of the NSP, Badan Nasional Standarisasi Profesi. So it is not just some task. You have to know how to do that. You have to get the certification from the government before you can implement this, because it will be an integral part of the company or business activities. Next, this is the summary: maintaining halal uh, guidelines, and then the assurance system, make them planning and risk, and then supervision and audit on reporting, because there are so many things can happen, especially for food distribution, whether you are using your own truck or your own fleet, or you are using vendors now. Yeah, when you are using vendors, make sure that you know your vendors is not doing anything to uh, to make your cargo or your food and beverage product lose the status halal. Now, this is the end-to-end halal ecosystem according to the regulation. So, starting from the very left, provision, farming, and fishery, you can be up until to the very end, the hotel, restaurant, cafe, in retail store, logistic during transportation, backward packaging, storage, warehousing, and then manufacturing. This all the aspect that must follow the halal regulation, according to the regulation. I'm not going to discuss about the religious aspect, because our we need to base on the regulation, positive regulation, the one that is in doing do so. So you have to the you have your own guidelines. So there is risk, as mentioned before, in all aspects, because it will be very, very long line of production, or Pak Marco used to say is halal value chain. So you must to maintain the halal integrity in all aspects, especially if you are the manufacturing or you are the food producer. So you must know how to transport, you must know how this being handled up until being served in the hotel, restaurant, cafe, or retail. Otherwise, it will lose the halal status. So if your cargo is your food and beverage product lose the halal status, we can say it is not halal and customer will not be satisfied. I think there are so many accidents where food products and food beverage lose their halal status. Okay, but not every product require halal certificate. There are some exemption, such as for natural products such as eggs, vegetable, but also the product that is from the origin is not halal, such as alcoholic drink, pork, meat of all process, such as sausages or frozen pork or any other substances that is not halal from the origin, you do not need to acquire halal certificate. But you can still operate in Indonesia. We are talking about Indonesia, but you must clearly mention that your product is non-halal. So this is the entry point for every. So you can say the regulation just not giving the how to do that. You regulation also give you freedom to distribute, to produce, to consume non-halal product in Indonesia. It is being monitored, being regulated by the government. Now, this is halal critical point example, because in distribution, in logistic, there are sea, there are air freight, there are trucking or any other mixing of transportation. Starting from the very beginning location and maybe from industrial zone. So they must follow the halal. The trucking company, the second step, delivering delivery, and on this step will be for going to seaport, for example, they must be halal because there are instances that doing so without any proper regulation or handling or company do not know the how to maintain the integrity, because even the regulation must make all aspect until the seaport, entry gate, container yard, docking area. This fall under your responsibility as Indonesia regulation. So you can see, even from industrial zone, there are halal critical point. The point where your cargo must be properly handled, separated, and processed. It goes the same to the tracking and even the entry gate. But it will be your job to do planning and implementing and preventing uh, any halal contamination risk in the system. I think that's it. I'm more open for discussion because this maybe some of the audience have some discussion or have some question. I will be stopping share here, Pak Marco.
Mr. Rizky Utomo, I think a great presentation. Thank you so much. Yeah, before we go to the Q&A, and we will make ample time available for that, I also would like to thank you all for attending this masterclass. Our next masterclass will be on the topic of halal branding on Tuesday, 27 January 2025. Look forward to seeing you there.